Main event time here at Pinnacle FC6. It's Mark Cherico, undefeated, taking on Bady Hovermale from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Rob Hanna clears the ring. I send it back up to George Phillips to bring out our main event fighters.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, are you ready? This is your main event of the evening. It is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds that takes place in the 145-pound weight division. Brought to you by Triangle Bar and Grill. Introducing your combatants. First, fighting out of the blue corner, please welcome Bady Hovermale.
Coming down to the cage at 9-3, standing 5'10" inches tall, Bady Hovermale, a young man at 22 years old, already with 12 professional fights in his career.
Interesting, he was with Hollywood MMA, but for this fight, you know, much was made of him going down to alpha male and training with Uriah Faber, Cody Garbrandt, one of Cherico's teammates, but most of his time was spent in the gym, in the garage of Bill Kilgore, formerly of Hollywood MMA, and that's one of the gentlemen cornering him tonight. So a guy who spent a lot of his time training in the garage, but a traveled veteran at only 22 years of age.
I mean, it's absolutely crazy to think, you know, this kid could have potentially just got out of college, but he already has a career's worth of MMA fights under his belt at a professional level. Absolutely ridiculous.
Coming out to Heartache tonight, so maybe he is trying to send a message to all the fans here in Pittsburgh that it's going to be a heartache tonight for them, all the Mark Cherico fans in the audience.
If they're trying to send a message, they're not getting it because they're singing along with it. That's the type of fun these fans are having here. You know, Bady Hovermale has been a wrestler since he was 6 years old. He worked on his wrestling, and talking to him about this fight, he said Cherico is going to feel his power, then shoot for a shot, and he said, I'm going to stuff his takedowns all night. Big words from Hovermale, but he was amazingly confident all week leading up to the fight.
Well, being amazingly confident before you go and fight and being confident while you fight are two different things. You can't knock the guy, though. I mean, say what you want, bold, brash, you know, whatever. He's going to come in and try to back it up, and maybe he will.
And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, please welcome Mark Cherico.
The pride of Bloomfield, Mark Cherico makes his way through the Pinnacle Fighting Championship signs with a 5-0 record, never been to the scorecard. A lot on the line for Mr. Cherico.
Yeah, I think fans are patiently waiting or in anticipation. I think they just want to see which glasses he's wearing more than anything. Mark Cherico, ever the showman, has a ton of fans. A lot of these fans here are Mark Cherico fans. That's why none of them have left leading up to this main event. We go to the tail of the tape here, Kyle.
We have Cherico coming in at 5'7", 145.4 pounds. Bady Hovermale, 5'10", 145.3. Mark is 5-0 right now. Looking to continue the streak, keep it going alive. Bady Hovermale, 9-3 though, no slouch.
5 years, the elder is Cherico, but he comes in with less experience inside the cage than Hovermale.
Cherico's always been kind of a patient guy in his career. He's always said, my goal is to get to the UFC. So I'm not going to go out and fight every 2 weeks because that's not what you're going to do in the UFC. You know, Cherico definitely, and he's never tasted defeat, is a big story. People might say he doesn't know how to lose inside the cage. That's a big bonus. You know, Bady Hovermale has tasted defeat. Cherico's never tasted defeat inside the cage, especially in the Pinnacle cage. Mr. Pittsburgh, ready for the main event.
Send it up to George Phillips for the official introductions for our main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pinnacle Fighting Championships proudly presents its main event of the evening. It is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds and takes place in the 145-pound weight division. This bout is being brought to you by the Triangle Bar and Grill. And your referee once again is Mr. Chip Snyder. Introducing your combatants. First, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighing in at 145 145 pounds. 12 MMA contests, 9 victories against 3 defeats. Representing Hollywood MMA, he hails from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Please welcome Bady Hovermale.
Cherico telling his fans not to boo Hovermale.
His opponent. Across the ring to my right, fighting out of the red corner. Standing 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing in at 145 pounds. A perfect professional record. 5 victories, no defeats. Representing Fight Club Pittsburgh, he hails from the City of Champions, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Please welcome the pride of Bloomfield, Mark Cherico.
After that introduction, I think it's safe to say the only thing preventing Mark Cherico from being the mayor of Pittsburgh is his shorts.
Bady Hovermale in the long black fight shorts. Cherico, black spandex covered in decals from sponsors. This is the main event.
Hovermale looking to sprint across the KO, maybe not.
3 5-minute rounds. Cherico takes center cage.
Ooh.
They meet in the middle with their shins.
The shin to shin is always painful to start. Hovermale with a rear leg teep you don't see.
Hovermale, a big height advantage, but arms don't seem to be that much longer than Cherico's.
Cherico bit left, and then the entrance on the single leg, and Hovermale concedes the takedown.
Hovermale kind of thought he was in too deep and decided to pull guard there. I was looking for some jits from the bottom.
Very active guard is
I was
Hovermale.
just going to say, moving his hips quite a bit, really not being stagnant at all.
Hovermale in some of his fights I've seen, he's been on his back before, not afraid to be on his back, is very active.
I think this is probably a good spot for him being the way he's built. You know, those long, graceful limbs can climb up a back pretty easily. But that back is Mark Cherico, so. Cherico looking to pass, not really throwing a lot of strikes right now, but trying to get a better position first.
And Hovermale's landed 2 of those elbows. He's doing a nice job of controlling where Cherico is, not letting him get up too high, and it's opening up some spots for those inside elbows.
And I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but Mark just moved Brady's head into the fence as opposed to on the pad, which is a big difference in comfort.
And Cherico looking to land the grazing elbow. Well, cutting it right across. That's how you cut somebody. It certainly
Cherico has Hovermale stacked a big up kick there.
Wow, yeah, Cherico doing a great job. Cherico using the fence very intelligently.
Well, he's a cerebral fighter.
He is.
Cherico, in preparation for his fights, not only spends a lot of time watching his opponent, but he watches himself and his last fight to learn where he can tweak his game and get better. And he did that after the Donnie Walker fight.
One other thing that's very underrated about Cherico is how strong he is. Now Cherico has the guillotine here.
He's takedown by Hovermale, returning the favor.
Cherico looking for that bump sweep.
Cherico on his back, not a position we've seen a lot throughout his 14-fight career.
Absolutely.
Historically, Mark is a top position kind of guy, really enjoys making you suffer. But here, he's got to work some jits or at least get a sweep out of this.
Solid wrist control, though. He's working. Strong, obviously, is Mark Cherico. Expect him to butt scoot up against the cage, wall walking, get up.
Looking to throw up some submissions. He's really doing a great job, as you said, controlling that wrist.
Knees, yeah, looking
trying
for that
to throw
triangle maybe.
Well, I mean, that's going to be a little tougher with his stature. Mark is a strong guy, but he does have short limbs. And his game is the wrestling and the striking, you know, and jits is...
Whoa.
Maybe he's, there we go. That's
what I'm talking about. Look at that wrestling scramble. Those hips are incredible.
Nice scramble.
Hovermale quickly getting to the back, and Cherico controlling the wrist, but Hovermale looking to get the hooks in.
And he's got Cherico's back here. Mark, though, looking to bridge and turn into that elbow that he's got a control of. Oh, lost it, though. Hovermale now throwing a body triangle in from the bottom position, but he does have Mark's back.
That makes it so much harder to breathe with that body triangle. And Cherico's big goal here is going to try to make Hovermale carry his weight.
Hovermale very skilled, very technical on the ground.
He's got some good control and great composure, not overdoing it, keeping his spot here. Just trying to ride out Cherico until his neck's exposed.
Cherico looking to stand up with Hovermale with the body triangle locked in
That's
on
how
his back.
strong of a guy Cherico is, just absolutely stood up with the guy on his back.
Beast.
Cherico maybe looking to slam his way out of this, or maybe just going to try to fight hands.
Now, believe it or not, like it's not that much lift with the legs here, but Cherico can actually tire out Hovermale by leaning back into him and cutting off his lungs' ability to expand and you know, really taking big breaths.
And we look to see if he tries to slam Hovermale.
Now, it's hard. You can't go forward and spike your opponent on your head.
No,
you can't do that, but you can jump to the back or do a full front flip. I prefer to hula hoop. It seems to be the safest thing. Ryan, your opinions?
Cherico looking to turn into Hovermale here.
Certainly, I was looking for him to do more of a backdrop, put his weight on Hovermale's. He's
Cherico's
got the body
out of
lock
it.
out, and they're back to their feet.
Across the cage.
Front kick by Hovermale.
That's a lot of
Interesting fight.
riding time there for Hovermale, though.
Yeah, I could have tired out his leg muscles for all we know. He's now kicking with his hands down, and I don't know if that first one was out of disdain.
His left hand is way down.
But yeah, I mean that lead hand is definitely like below his chest level at this point.
Right hand.
Right
over
hand,
the
and
top.
again, entrance with a single leg.
I think it's really his
Nice
bread and
dump
butter.
there.
There's nobody better that I've seen recently that throws takedowns in behind his punches so smoothly as Mark Cherico.
Cherico's got to do some damage here before the end of the round. This is a close first round.
I don't know how to score this one. I was actually just thinking about that.
Neon Belly trying to separate, but we're going to go to the end of round one. Very close fight. We'll start with you, David. How do you score that fight?
A little bit more of a cerebral fight than what I anticipated, I got to be honest with you, but I think Cherico did enough at the beginning of the round, and at the end of the round, you got to remember, the entire round counts the same. So even though it looked at points that Hovermale was winning the fight, I got to give a very slight edge to Cherico here.
Kyle, take it away.
I would have to agree. It's hard to argue with the back control of Hovermale, but as we see in the replays right here, Cherico is just all over in the beginning.
That up kick, as we watched the replay, when I first watched it, I thought it landed. It just barely grazed.
Yep. Cherico just got a free shave from Bady Hovermale.
See Cherico here with the nice positioning from the top. He used the pass. He had a full mount there for a second at least. That was before Bady Hovermale stood back to his feet.
What a round. If fans wanted to see Mark Cherico in a fight, they're getting it right now.
This is a great test for a guy like Mark Cherico who has UFC aspirations. If he wants to get to the UFC, he's got to be able to beat very tough guys like Bady Hovermale.
This guy is. Fighters touch hands. Start of round two. Cherico with a big looping left hook just misses.
And Hovermale throwing that push kick there for about. He's been throwing that a lot in this fight. Oh,
big
Cherico
right
has a
hand
big right
again.
hand.
Cherico's so quick with that looping lead right hook.
That overhand.
And it always sets up the double leg.
That was an interesting level change there. I just saw a couple what looked like 12-6 elbows from Hovermale. That was very close to being a legal strike, and there were 3 of them.
Now Cherico, this is where he excels, positioning, control on the ground, but I don't recall ever seeing him against an opponent who's so active off his back as we've seen from Hovermale.
Well, we could say Hovermale was active off his back in the early stanza. As of right now, he seems content to be in the bottom and just prevent the pass. We really need to see him do more if he has any hopes of winning this fight.
Cherico putting it on him with the elbows. He needs to continue to do this, score some points, frustrate his opponent.
Good positioning by Cherico here. I think he's looking to get to the mount.
Cherico's so strong, and
it's very underrated actually how strong he is, because you don't really ever see him having to use his strength. He grinds out with great hips and wrestling.
Nice neon belly there.
Smart strikes.
nice short
Hovermale
elbows.
does not want to be mounted. You can tell. He keeps putting that left foot on his right knee.
Going for an Americana.
His
Oh,
arm
wow,
bar
inverted
here.
triangle.
Cherico.
And wow, Hovermale now trying to lock up a triangle.
Cherico's past that, looks like.
Yep.
Sure he
That's
is.
a
And
good way.
Hovermale cannot recover.
Throwing
Yep.
up a lazy triangle is a good way to have your opponent pass you.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how lazy he was. Cherico just reacted very quick.
And you have to think that my Stone Cold Stunner's got him prepared for this fight.
Absolutely. And there's
Oh,
a
wow.
guillotine
Yeah,
attempt. Front choke.
Guillotine attempt by Cherico. He's going to look to take. Oh,
He rolls into mount from that.
I thought he was going to be taking it back from
Half
there.
guard now.
Yeah, Hovermale recovers to a half guard. Hovermale seems to be very good at surviving, but I haven't really seen him threaten much from his back as of
Very
yet.
good back and forth chest
And there's
match
a
on the
choke
ground
by
so far.
Hovermale.
Oh, wow,
Now
he is
Cherico
going.
does have the full mount.
I was gonna,
It
yeah.
doesn't threaten. And
Well, I mean, it's not a threat to be choking from a mount.
Look, this is
Right.
Cherico's
Absolutely.
bread and butter here. He's going to look to feed Hovermale to his
He's going
back.
for an arm. Hovermale looked to be giving him an arm. Great body control, balance, staying on top of Hovermale. But credit Hovermale getting out of the
Absolutely.
mount from Cherico.
But you're totally right, though. I mean, just to be able to stay on top of somebody bucking like that, it really is tough. And Cherico was sitting on him for half a second.
Hovermale doing a nice job preventing those elbows from landing by covering with his right hand, but now Cherico's cleared it.
Cherico needs to get a little bit busier here. I mean, before he was looking to pass first, strike second. Now it seems that he's kind of comfortable just striking. He is attempting to pass. You see his left foot pushing down on the thighs so he can get his right leg out.
That right leg out, yeah.
But if he did just posture up, I think, and throw 1 or 2 effective strikes and then really work to get those legs free, it'd probably pay him dividends. And the Pro Cherico crowd gets active once again here at Green Tree Sportsplex.
Big elbows by Cherico. It's been the story of this round. He's landing the left elbows. Watch out for that up kick.
Oh,
Just
wow.
misses.
Cherico, good recognition.
Perfect timing by Cherico.
Now, see, here's one thing I don't like. I see a lot of highly skilled fighters do is go for the mount when their opponent's back is in the cage like that. It's very easy to get turned. I don't think mount's the proper position for that. I think you should grab the legs, suck them away from the
Half
fence.
guard by
But
Cherico, getting the underhook on the opposite
just my
side.
opinion.
And Cherico, listen to it. He's dropped down, settled for half guard.
It's almost like I know what I'm talking about sometimes, Ryan Kavanaugh. and
Elbow
I see
from
some
Cherico
blood
there.
coming out of Hovermale, the left side of his head
Yeah,
there.
that elbow just opened up.
Oh,
opened
yeah,
him up
right in the
immediately.
hairline there.
If you hit him with enough elbows, eventually one of them's going to cut you.
We can only hope that's why I'm so pretty now. Another guillotine attempt possibly here by Cherico.
That's
Nope,
going to be
dumps
tough
it.
as the shorter guy to get
Yeah.
a standing guillotine.
Exactly, David.
Intelligent by Cherico to abandon that immediately, drop a level, and dig
Big
for another
elbows
takedown.
there.
Look at Hovermale landing the elbows, absolutely. Trying to get those hands together.
Cherico elevates and
Another
gets a takedown.
Hovermale did nothing to stop that either. I think he kind of accepted the fact that Cherico had a hold of his hips.
Half guard here again.
But that's something we've seen from Hovermale in the past. He allows himself to be put in tough positions. 30 seconds left in round number 2. Mark Cherico grinding down Bady Hovermale. It's been the story of round 2, the takedowns, the top control, and the elbows in the face of Hovermale.
Hovermale has got to move. He's got to scramble. Spend a little bit of energy you don't have just to save yourself from getting put away.
Cherico showing no signs of slowing down.
He never does. And Hovermale now exploding up. Well,
Going
there's a
for a
tight
guillotine
guillotine.
choke.
Cherico looking to finish that guillotine here.
Cranking on it, but we're inside 10 seconds. Hovermale says, I'm
gives
okay.
a big thumbs up.
Cherico looking to finish. Guys, very close fight so far. Round 2, clearly Mark Cherico. But if you're the corner of Mark Cherico, are you telling him you got to go win this round?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you got to win every round if you want to win the fight.
Now, is he being told to finish the fight or win the round now? Like, I would advise him to kind of ride it out. I mean, as it's going, the momentum is slowly shifting in his favor. Why would you go and sacrifice that with a home run hit that makes you taken down?
Let's take a look at some of the first round action here, Dave.
Big elbow.
These are the elbows from Bady Hovermale. Cherico didn't really look too worse for the wear after those nice elbows from the top from Bady Hovermale. Ends up getting the takedown here, back into half guard, and he had already done this once earlier in the round. Half guard beating Hovermale up a little bit.
I think the better question I should have posed is, does Hovermale have to look to finish the fight?
Oh,
Clearly
absolutely.
He lost round 2. Round 1, close.
Now, see, I
Could
would
go
say
either
just
way.
because of the way momentum's going, he is slowly but surely losing this fight if it keeps going this way.
He's gotta
Down,
prevent the takedown.
tons of elbows. Yeah, he needs to stop getting elbowed.
And the takedown's where it's at, but Cherico's had success coming in with that looping right hook.
Truly.
And he lands it and it sets up the takedown. Hovermale pushing forward this time.
If I'm Hovermale, I cover up, wait for that level change, and just throw a knee. Just pray.
Body change.
Hovermale,
Body
Carlos
kick
Conde Jr.
Right, absolutely. There's a likeness to Carlos. Leg kick, and Hovermale kind of has Cherico up against the fence, kind of guessing.
Doing a good job of backing Cherico here.
Oh,
Left hand
big
by
left hook.
Cherico.
Now, so far we've seen Cherico take down from left and right hands immediately afterwards.
I'll tell you
He's
what,
so good at that.
Pinpoint accuracy on those hooks.
Absolutely.
I mean, right on the button, and immediately after hitting it, he's already in on your hips. Deep entrance, looking for that takedown. Very impressive.
He's very good at marrying his movements, and I say that in like moving
Cherico
forward and
looking
down
for
at the
his
same
bread and
time.
butter here, the rear naked choke.
Cherico's never been to the judges' scorecard. Can he continue that streak? He's got 4 minutes to work to put Hovermale
Big
away.
elbows there from Cherico.
Holding down the right arm of Hovermale, landing big right elbows.
Good wrist control here by Cherico from the top. Basically taking Hovermale's right arm out of the equation and throwing a couple of big elbows on the top here.
Notably in attendance.
Oh,
Nice,
big elbows from Mark Cherico. You heard those in the back.
Solid.
Wow. Reverberating through the entire Green Tree Sports Complex.
And Hovermale touching his head there.
Cherico looking to
He
pass.
landed. Those are the kind of elbows that will immediately
Hovermale
bring
regains guard though here.
out
Half
on your
butterfly
head.
guard.
Hovermale's tough.
And those are some solid elbows, Ryan Kavanaugh.
Well, he certainly knows what he's doing when he gets down there, and bad intentioned elbows.
Now see, here's where I want to see Cherico pass again. That guard's wide open.
Well, as you know, you have to have
Nice
the
look
open
for
guard.
elevation there from Hovermale on the
Hovermale,
bottom.
Yeah, going to the butterfly on the left side, trying to raise him up, and we get a stand-up.
Not
Kyle,
a
looks
bad
like you
stand-up
disagree
there.
with that.
Mark was just, oh, big right hand by Mark Cherico.
Hovermale answers with an uppercut that just misses.
It just seemed like Mark was getting ready to pass, and then it was stood up.
I'm
And
never
Hovermale's
really.
in a firefight here, coming at him, swinging wild.
Cherico actually looks a little tired right now. I've never seen that before. But it could be just him playing possum as well.
Ooh,
Left hand there.
Behind the ear,
Another
he
left
lands
hand
another
left.
left. Cherico has pinpoint accuracy with that left, and he continues to find a home on the side of the head of Bady Hovermale.
Now here's that position I was talking about. Right here, I don't know if it's good for Mark to step over and take that full mount. It really puts his hips above Brady's, and Brady can stand up. Now right here, I think grind in more of a forward angle as opposed to a downward.
Brady looking to post there on the ground and stand back up. Cherico doing a good job of grinding and keeping the fight on the ground.
Oh, he's got his back.
2 minutes left here.
Mark Cherico has...
Nice knee!
Big knee by Cherico. Hovermale takes it, a scramble. Hovermale throwing punches. We're going to see the
Cherico
cardio
better
of
put his
Cherico.
hands up here.
It's the longest he's
Against the
been in a
cage.
fight.
Big left hand there.
This is without
Both
doubt
guys look tired.
the deepest water we've seen Mark Cherico in.
Absolutely.
Good
Shoots-
sprawl by Hovermale.
Wow, but Hovermale wasn't back up to his feet in time. Cherico with an uppercut, and now back in side control.
Just as we question the cardio of one Mark Cherico, he bowls him right over, and Hovermale finds himself on his back in trouble with 1:20 left in the third round, and this pretty much has been the story of the fight.
Good elbow by Cherico.
That half guard or side control to that elbow. The short little shots that are really winning this from Mark.
I think the biggest part of this fight, the story is that Hovermale, I think, came in expecting to be able to stuff the takedowns of Cherico, and he really hasn't stuffed too many of them at all, if any.
We're coming down to the final minute of our main event. Mark Cherico riding it out on Bady Hovermale. The crowd in the Green Tree Sportsplex on their feet, chanting Cherico, cheering and bringing the hometown boy on to victory. Pride of Bloomfield looking to go 6-0 as a professional. Bady Hovermale has got 40 seconds to finish this fight, but first he's got to get off his back.
And he needs to shrimp in right now, turn toward Mark Cherico, and just throw submissions up. Right now, he needs to scramble like he is about to die.
30 seconds left. Cherico, dominant position. Side control.
I don't know if Brady has anything left in his tank right now. Mark's laying on him, and he's
Cherico
not doing
back
much to
side
fight it.
control again.
Goes some more elbows, rapid fire by Cherico. Cherico looking to finish.
And we're seeing the cardio of Mark Cherico here. Definitely tested, but he's passing that test.
Absolutely.
Flying colors.
Rapid fire, right elbows again. Inside 10 seconds. Our main event is going to go to the judges' scorecards. Mark Cherico, Bady Hovermale go the distance. Cherico raises both hands as he seemingly believes he's won this fight. Hard fought win, points to his heart as if to say, all heart. And there's a somewhat dejected Bady Hovermale into the cage.
You could see it. I mean, body language does really speak volumes, especially inside the fence. And Bady Hovermale right now is not acting like he won that fight.
Doctor's checking out Hovermale. Cherico, both hands up.
That was an absolute masterpiece. Mark Cherico is going to look back at this fight, even though it wasn't his prettiest. I think he's going to look back at it as one of the most important fights of his career. When he makes it on to bigger and better things like the UFC, I think he's going to thank Bady Hovermale for giving him this test.
What impressed me so much about it, he won it with the takedowns, the grinding, and the elbow, the ground and pound, but it's the entrance with the hands, as we're going to see here, that set it up, pinpoint accuracy.
Everything he threw was spot on, hitting the chin, hit behind the ear, and he was just money all night.
Very impressive. I would call it, especially when you consider the defense, both on the feet and on the ground, a complete performance by Mark Cherico.
Absolutely. He really put it all out tonight, and in a very, very impressive fashion.
I think we're going to get a chance to see the left hook here by Cherico. That sets up the takedown again. There it is, short left.
Absolutely marvelous performance by Mark Cherico tonight. And he's really got a lot to be happy about right now and proud of. So good for him. You know, excellent performance tonight over a very tough opponent, Bady Hovermale.
Very happy, Mark Cherico. Bady Hovermale gave Cherico all he could handle. The official scorecards are in. We find out, did Mark Cherico move his professional record to 6-0? George Phillips has that answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for a hard-fought main event here at Pinnacle Fighting Championships. The final bell has rung and your judges have spoken. Judges Phil Rogers and Todd Kruska saw it the same, 29-28. John Lapskovic saw it 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision, and still undefeated, the pride of Bloomfield, Mark Cherico.
Mark's got to go get his costume. Hold on. All right. I'm here with the pride of Bloomfield. You know him as Mark Cherico. I've been following Mark's career pretty much the whole time, and I can tell you that this was probably one of his tougher fights. Bady Hovermale came in and gave him hell, and Mark showed what Mark's made of, and Mark does what Mark does. Mark, talk to us a little bit about the first round, then talk about the fight in general.
I don't know what I did there. He was starting to get up, and I watched a lot of his fights. You know, and him getting up, he's very dangerous. And he left his head down, so I tried to snap for the guillotine, and I ended up missing it. I don't know, on the scramble he got my back, but I got like quadzilla in my legs. I got to thank Scott Umberger for that. So I just stood up and let him sit on my back. It really didn't take anything. Oxidative squats are what make beasts like this, and you got to feed the monster. I got a lot of people I got to thank. First and foremost, my wife and my little daughter Aubrey. She's not here, but my wife is here. You know, I put a lot of time and effort into training, and I don't get to see them as much, and usually the week of the fight, I'm super grouchy, and she's completely understanding. So, baby, I love you. Thank all my sponsors, Unseen Armada, Out of the Cage Clothing, Giant Eagle, Reaction Nutrition, Hop House and Green Tree, which is the official after party. So come on out, we're gonna get white girl wasted. Critter Control, Torque, Toast, Qdoba, they got the best steak tacos around. You gotta hit them up. Rivertown Brewing, which is selling beer here. I know you loved it because I've seen a lot of drunk people here. You can continue drinking Rivertown Brewing at the Hop House. They got drink specials there. Addicted Salon, EAS Roofing, JSK Flooring, Fight Club Pittsburgh, all my teammates. High Voltage, your energy partner. If you're looking for someone to broker your company, help you get cheaper energy bills, hit them up. Synergy, and of course my manager, Chainsaw Charles McCarthy and Guardian Sports Management. He takes care of me. He got me down to American Top Team. I love you guys. Faction Mouth Guards. I think that's it.
I don't know anyone that can talk off the cuff like this guy. Unbelievable. What else you got for us?
I just want to thank everybody for coming out. Hopefully I can make it to the next Pinnacle either in May or July. You can see me continue my winning ways until we get to the UFC. So everybody have a good night. Drive safe. Hope to see you at the Hop House.
Mark Cherico. Drive safe, everybody. Thank you for attending Pinnacle Fighting Championship 6. We'll see you back here in Green Tree on May 24th. It's only getting bigger, and it's only getting better.